Association discussion round. Today we have Mix Daggerson, Okies, Yokai, Z, Malgus, Faisal, Chili, and the friendly neighborhood giant himself. I don't think we should have him on anyways. He just dabbed. So today we're going to be discussing the Alpha 1 footage that we just saw on the Ashes of Creation livestream. So first of all, I would like to ask everybody how they like the format, like with the devs sitting at home and just playing instead of the traditional live stream.
I mean, given what it was, I mean, given the circumstances that are under it, it was okay.
Yeah, there's not much they can do when there's a deadly virus going around. Like, I think they did as well as they could.
Honestly, I didn't mind it at all. It kind of felt the same, but like Morgan did have a point when she said she wished that they were all together, but because it gives a different vibe. But yeah, like because of the circumstances that they are in, they had to do this. So
yeah, makes sense, and it shows that they can at least put it together remotely over the wire and be able to play it. I could see that the VPN part was kicking in a little bit for them. They have ways that can solve that in the future, I'm sure.
Yeah, and there were a few issues with Steven's sound and stuff. So
yeah, I guess based on the current situation, as we know, I think California is in lockdown as well. So they kind of have, based on that, it was good. It was like, to be honest, we finally saw some footage of the MMO, so I guess that's always a good thing.
yeah, to me it was a million times better than that thing.
They could have opted to back out and they chose to still do a stream.
True. A lot of dev companies right now are pushing, their streams or their timelines, etc., because of this, and they kept going with it. That's good.
Real quick, I think the stream is kind of quiet.
Quiet?
Their stream?
What do you mean by quiet?
Maybe not. Maybe just never mind.
I think it's just you, Yokai.
No, just the stream in general. No, I thought the stream was quiet. I guess. I thought I'm mistaken. Yeah.
What am I drinking? Well, it's the first discussion round that is not on a Sunday. It's a Friday, so I am drinking my best friend. I've been knowing him for a long time. He got me through a lot of bad things. His name is Captain Morgan.
Yay, Captain Morgan!
And I just want to show
Rum
this.
Coke's only drink.
I just want to show this. I'm drinking it. I'm drinking Captain Morgan out of a "Don't Worry, Be Happy" cup.
That's awesome.
That's like one of the most hippiest things I've ever heard.
We caught BCG on a good day. That's all.
Yeah, super good day, dude. Honestly, I freaking love the live stream. I'm not gonna lie. I'm like, okay, so let's go, let's play. Get me in there.
I am super gonna be the voice of negativity this time.
Oh, you gotta be the voice of negativity.
I'm gonna be the voice of negativity.
Oh, dude, I need to mark.
All right, so then let me pose this. You're saying let's get in and let's play. I'm saying not, because it's obviously an unpolished, even Alpha 0. I would rather wait than to have the amount of asshats that can throw shade on a game without understanding it's a development process.
I'm going
to say no.
That is the best of my opinion. Like, it is just like it looks like a prettier version of Alpha 0. If you played Alpha 0, it plays almost. I mean, they have a lot more abilities, and the abilities look better. Like, the abilities look good.
Development works.
I know. I know. That's how development works. We already know the world looks good. We already know the game, like, the abilities look good. I just wish we would have seen, like, work on, like any of the other things, like anything.
I don't get why people complain, even though if they saw, like, new things. It might be the Alpha 0 map. I get that completely. But, like, they've expanded it. If people who played Alpha 0 saw the limitations of the map itself, you can see it went over that boundary, and it introduced a lot of new things. So I don't get why they complain.
They didn't. They said at the beginning that this was an Alpha Zero inspired sort of area. Sort of
No.
It is
they
the
were
Alpha
talking about
Zero
that.
area. It's just
No.
revamped.
That is not the Alpha Zero. That is not the Alpha Zero area.
But they said it's an inspired because
they-
they said it was going to be an island for Alpha Zero.
They said that there's going to be an island that somewhere in the world, the island for Alpha Zero is in there. They didn't say that specifically was the island though, because that was not the Alpha Zero map. Trust me, that was not the Alpha Zero map. Not even an improved version of the Alpha Zero map.
Well, one of the things that a lot of people always focus on are the graphics in the front. What you see, what you can smell and touch, right? So they're looking at how they look like they were floating a little bit off the ground. That's a rendering pass. I'm not worried about that. They look like, there was some choppiness. I don't care about that. It wasn't in 4K. I don't care about that. A lot of people aren't understanding that they're still working on the mechanics behind the scenes. All the glitz, the paint on the car comes last. And that's what we're talking about when we're looking at that crap. What we want is the damn car to run well. That's the engine. So it's still a patience issue.
Yeah,
I
and
think we're going to need to sit through that a bit.
I think if you compare the Alpha Zero experience to what we were shown today, a lot of the node issues have been fixed. Because they used to have to level up the nodes manually, and now it does it by itself. And there are different elements of the mayor system in there, and you're able to choose which buildings you want to put in there as well. And I think that's a huge step in the right direction.
Even the code that they showed where Maggie was pushed aside when they did the level up of the node. I mean, that's effort and time and a serious process just to figure out to make sure you're not trapping your players in collision.
Yeah, it's showing forethought, something that a lot of other companies don't do until the game's almost released.
Yeah, and people are complaining about, hey, I keep getting trapped in, some of this gameplay. Getting trapped
Some
inside
companies
the building or
fix that, and they have to add an unstuck button.
All right, okay, let's not get stuck on that because now I'm talking. Pay attention. I am super excited and super happy because we got proof of concept. So fuck all the haters. So fuck myself too. Fuck all the the guys who say, "Oh, this is a scam." There's proof of concept. It's there. Yes. Yes.
Roboting.
I know I'm roboting. We never had 10 people on the stream, so I don't know if this even works. But yes, there's proof of concept. It's like the thing everybody's been screaming about is proof of concept. And there in one video, we got a boss fight, we got the combat, we got freaking what else? Node leveling, the housing, the
caravan, fishing, mob fighting, spell effects,
fishing,
healing, resin.
Yes.
Inventory, gear.
Yes.
They had merchant.
Yes.
I mean, I go down a list.
Caravans. Like everything is now there. Everything that we've been asking for the past, 2 years is now gathering exactly. Everything we wanted is in that one freaking playthrough.
And tax rates.
In that 1 hour.
Yes.
See tax rates.
Tax rates.
And there's other details.
Tax rates to 100.
So there were other details in that. They showed aggro range, whether it's good or bad, but they showed aggro range. They showed that the mobs did turn toward healers. They showed the ability for tanks to turn the mobs away. So they're showing a lot of other mechanics that were inside that too that are not specific to I saw a pop-up menu, but there's a lot in that background that we're all going to complain about if they don't deal with. So, we're seeing a lot of other stuff that's included in there. Is it all polished? No. Is it proof of concept? Certain.
The one thing that I really wanted to see was the housing system. I assumed it worked, but Maggie didn't go through it. Like Steven did say that if you look behind you, you can see the housing system and how it works. Maggie never shed light on it. I wish we were able to see that because
it was a playthrough and not a feature demonstration. I think that the community could probably say, hey, can we do like a feature demonstration where you show somebody in each one of the classes doing some of the skills, but not a whole bunch of running around playing and fighting with it. Just show some of that stuff and then show us the housing. And just do a features walkthrough later on.
But like, what's it called? If they showed us how the buildings work, you might as well shed light. Just shed light. I'm not saying like show us all the features. Just look on it.
Well, they kind of did though. When they built the armory, they showed you how housing is going to work outside of how you buy it. they showed you're going to pick your plot. You're going to say, I want to build this house here because it's going to be your personal house. And it's going to tell you, go get timber, go get stone, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so you're not just going to go poof and there's your home or rent one that's existing. You're going to have to go do the work to get the pieces and parts, build it.
I hope the freeholds are like that too.
I don't see why there would be a difference there.
Also, I don't necessarily think the housing system itself was implemented. I just think Stephen made the point of there were housing buildings that you would potentially be able to pick and build up. Yeah. And that the system of being able to build a certain shop because you're a mayor allows for a similar system in terms of housing.
Yep, I agree.
It also was a lot to digest already, so if they're splitting it up and say another stream, that's understandable too.
Because they're going to show the rest of that dragon fight next month. So now that I think they've got some sort of something they can show gameplay, that gives them something more for the to show on stream. So it's not just like we see a bit of concept art. We're actually seeing the actual proof of concept now.
I also think that something like housing and guild systems and stuff is something that's going to be a lot more focused on in Alpha 2 rather than Alpha 1. Because like it's part of some of the main node systems, but it's kind of also an extension of it, more so than the fundamentals.
Alpha 1's the one that has all the node stuff, so I'd imagine the housing would be in Alpha 1.
Well, and remember, we're only discussing here Alpha 1, not 2 or Beta 1, Beta 2, etc. We're talking about when they drop Alpha 1, how much of this engine system will be online versus, hold on, guys, obviously it takes time, so we got to kick that feature back to Alpha 2 or future development. So we can't expect a finished game in Alpha 1. That would be kind of dumb.
It might actually be in when we get to play, and it's just not in while they're streaming it.
The entire point of Alpha 1 is to test the node system. It's the entire fucking point.
So I agree. We probably see that, and we probably see a little less of the guild or the raid stuff or some of the further outlying lands or monsters. I agree, but it all cannot be in Alpha 1. So if it's a nodes test, then I'm sure that'll be what's developed out, what they'll want us to focus on.
Okay, but like a part of that node test would be like having monsters, and you still need to gain that experience through them to level up the node. So,
no, correct. So that's obviously there though, but you're not going to say that raid with that one dragon. Sure, that's in that area, but it's not like you're going to search every bit of the land, go find all the different dragons or the special weapons that are out there, or all the possible nodes. Even they may even restrict how many nodes that we can mess around with in Alpha 1. Just to make sure.
25%. It's only 25% of the map, and as Basil just said, part of the node development is the spawning of raids. So you might see one or two raids.
Yeah, just tied to that node.
Yeah, tied to however many nodes there are in 25% of the map.
But I'm betting we don't see any of the sea stuff until Alpha 2.
Well, I don't expect to see. I don't expect to see any of that shit until launch. They've already said that naval combat, like all the extra naval shit they were planning, might not even be there come launch. It might be an update later, like a month or two after launch.
Like I would expect it to be like a DLC that comes around like maybe after a year of launch or 2 years. I don't know.
Which either way is good.
It would take them.
Well, it's curious because they have seaport nodes. I believe they talked about doing.
Yeah, they have them. But you know what the best thing is? You know what the best thing is right now? We kind of know where they at.
Yeah.
We know where they at. Okay, they might even be further ahead.
This was an older build.
Exactly, and that's the point. For the past year, we were like, okay, where are you guys at? What's going on? What's happening? Now we know where they at. Now you can actually even like rough estimate on when like they might be going, because now after what I see today, and there's not being negative, it's just being based on what I see, I think like towards the end of the year you can maybe expect to get into Alpha 1 if we're lucky. There's a big negative, there's being
depending on how much luck they have with development, it could be earlier too.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think now it's also a lot easier to set reasonable expectations as to what we want to see for the next in order to see progress. So it's not something ridiculous like I expect for the entire game to be done by the end of the month. It's more so, okay, this is where we're at. what could be improved for next month's stream if they decide to do it. But I really want to touch on what you guys think was the best part of the stream. So, like, which part did you guys enjoy the most?
Well, for me, it was no development. I gotta say that right out of the gate, but that's because the whole premise of Chili's Tavern comes from the no development and setting that up. I like a lot of PvE, and I will go out and adventure, but I'm going to attack or address this particular game from the social side a little bit, or a little bit more than normal, and go for a no development that's neutral. So just to see how that plays into the community, let alone the game itself. So that was a big hit for me. Was seeing it progress forward. Yes, they had their special mobs. Seeing the go out gather materials to build, the shop that the mayor picked. That whole type of gameplay there. That was the biggest piece for me. I didn't give a crap about they made people run out and go find mobs and kill, and they could go fishing and they could ride horses. All of it's I don't give a shit about.
I definitely agree. I think also because Ashes is kind of built on the premise of nodes, so I think it's important to get that in place, especially in Alpha 1.
I think I can talk about on behalf of everyone that we all enjoyed the node, but me specifically, I liked how they built a little bit of UI and how to interact with the.
Yep, okay,
I think we're back. Yep,
Yeah, we're back.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry for the delay, everyone. Technical difficulties happen sometime.
Yes, it's an Ashes stream. It comes with the territory. All right, so where were we?
It's required, isn't it?
We
We're
were
asking
talking
everyone's favorite part of the stream.
Yes. So, see, what did you like the most?
Yeah, I think I probably agree with what everyone was saying with the node system, because that was pretty cool to see that. But then I liked the dungeon with the bears.
Yeah, it was an open world dungeon, which was nice. We didn't have to instance into it, queue up thing, and it was pretty sizable.
Yeah, not walk into a portal or anything.
Also, it wasn't like massive. I think that was.
Now, I certainly think that we can talk about that whole lava underneath the dragon thing.
I mean, the GM armor too overpowered.
Yeah, well, so the lava, it's a difficulty because it's supposed to be a 40-person mob, and that's cool. But you can't have lava that's going to tick away and only have that one strip of dirt to stand on. There's just no mechanics in that. So the lava should hurt us, but they need more land for people to stand on.
That's not a 40 person. That's not a 40 part. That's not that specific one. Was not a 40-person raid boss. That's just like a.
Stephen did say it. It's a 40-person.
He did,
boss.
yeah. That was a 40-person dragon.
He said it's multi people. I don't think he said 40 people.
In the stream, he said 40 people. It's a 40 people dragon.
The only reason they were living is because they had GM armor on.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I would like to see dragons be 40 people. That's great. I mean, that's fine. Just they're going to obviously have to rework some of what they've artistically taken some leisure there with.
Okay.
Because it's I'm going to represent the immersion feel at this point and say you can't have lava and they're not doing stuff that's circa 2004. We need to have lava hurting people. We need to have places for them to take advantage where they can hit the mob. Or if they get in the lava, start taking damage, or it's just going to look kind of kitschy. It's not okay.
I also think, just from the standpoint of having played previous MMOs and stuff, it's nice to have kind of things that are similar. So if lava doesn't deal damage in one game, but it does in the other, it creates confusion. And sometimes I think it's nice to have kind of a generalization of, okay, fire and lava always deal damage because it's kind of a meme that people should be standing in it.
Exactly. Yeah. And I also like, when the boss is about to do its flamethrower or whatever, you're meant to be behind the boss. You sort of like in other MMOs, they have a knockback or they wave the hand. You literally have to go right behind the boss and you don't take the damage.
Yeah.
Or even suffer a pushback into the lava,
Tail swipes and stuff.
Front side.
Yeah.
But I'm more than confident these guys will have all the basics that we are all used to, and I'm sure our viewers here are used to, and we're going to see that type of stuff come to pass.
Yeah, I also don't think the lava necessarily was like it didn't have to deal damage in order to get the point across of it being kind of a bigger epic boss fight. At least not in this context, because it was mostly just for showcasing.
Yeah. It might not even be where the dragon finally is, too. They might have just placed it in there for the showpiece.
That's a 40-person boss. I do not want it to be fucking still. I do not want it to be like blowing breath in one direction. That thing better be moving around the goddamn area.
Yep, it better be
Well, they did
very
say
active.
that they were still adding stuff, and they will show us the full
heaps.
content next month.
I like the mayor stuff, the taxes, and seeing that. I like that there was a list of all your citizens on the left. Because I was wondering, how do you keep track of all that? So
that's going to be a big list.
Yeah, seeing
let's address
window,
that
was really the thing for me.
I feel like, all right, so the main purpose of Alpha 1, and I guess the main purpose, the thing everyone should take away from this is like the mayor system, the nodes, that is the specific purpose of Alpha 1. So I think we should all, like, everyone seems to be in agreement that is the stuff that everyone liked about this. And that was the main, like, if there was anything you didn't like about it, like, look at this video and because it's Alpha 1, if there was something you did not like about the mayoral system or the nodes, then address that. If I was like a problem with any of the other systems, know that that's not the point of what is currently being tested.
Yeah, so we're not going to bitch about fishing. Cool. So in the nodes thing, somebody did come up with, well, what happens when somebody takes over the first, starting area nodes and they're a trolling crowd? How do we deal with that? I don't think everybody starts in the same area. Is that correct?
You choose which zone you start in.
There are 5 different spawn locations. There are like 170, 160 some odd nodes, give or take.
Are they based on your race or class or anything like that?
The only one that is the Tolna.
The portals are based on. You can pick and choose which. All right, so lore wise, the portals are based off of which race you are, but you can pick and choose whichever one you want to spawn.
Yeah.
In.
Steven said at the moment, tentative, except Tolna. Tolna might only be for Tolna.
Well, and that's understandable. Okay, I can live with that.
Can we talk about the boss cinematic? I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, I didn't expect
like
that.
I like they have cinematics in the game now. Yeah, I like that.
As long as they address it properly, because my concern is that some people don't cinematic as well as others. We know that BCG has a potato for a computer, and if I'm waiting on him to heal and I've already gone through the cinematic, I'm screwed. Let alone if he's a healer, I'm screwed
I
anyways.
like it was more an entrance cinematic, not the start of a fight, though, which was good.
Okay.
Yeah, because
I wouldn't even call that a cinematic. I would call it like a scenario intro.
It's a minor cinematic.
It's a little cutscene in game.
Yeah, cutscene.
And that's all right.
But I think
sort
that
of
was
like
really
in Monster Hunter.
But I like that because it's more cinematic then too. It makes the drama more epic. I did like the idea that out of everything in the dungeon, that was the part that looked instanced or at least isolated.
Maybe that's what the portals are to the boss zones. Those are the instants.
Okay, so
but it had like a real dungeon.
Okay, so I from what I'm listening or what I'm hearing right now, is everybody here like happy with what they saw? Is there somebody here who is like, nah, I hate this?
I'm happy because I saw the UI.
All right, but, okay, I don't need to know if you're happy. Is there anybody
You
here
said-
that isn't
but
satisfied?
You said I couldn't talk about. You said I couldn't talk about gatherables.
Okay, is
the
any
UI is placeholder? That's just not that. I'm not worried about the UI. My main issue, I guess my primary issue, is the fact that any and every mob we've seen so far has been either like a store cosmetic mob.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
I don't want the world to be populated with just store like variations of the store cosmetic. I would really have liked to see.
Steven addressed this. He doesn't want to spoil creatures in the game yet.
I mean, Yanni, I get what you were saying, and This is what I'm about to say. It's not against Intrepid Studio or meant in a negative way, but I didn't expect to see like a lot of like brand new creatures. By the pace we are going, I didn't expect it. I didn't expect us to see like stuff we never have seen before. But we got to see proof of concept. That's the only thing I'm happy about.
I think what we should be looking forward to or should be watching out for in terms of that in the future is more so it only becomes the thing that they do. So like Steven has said multiple times about the lore, we want to be excited and we want to experience it like firsthand for the first time. And I kind of feel like it's the same with creatures to an extent. So if we only ever see, oh, this is a cosmetic creature of some sort, and we don't really see anything that's new or exciting even when we get into the game, I would personally be a little bit disappointed. Because like part of an epic boss fight is also like seeing how like big and majestic the creature is and experiencing it for the first time. And if we don't do that because we've seen it already, I would be kind of a bit disappointed personally.
I'm gonna go with the live stream, like all the live streams too, like everything they've shown, cause like rendering wise and concept art wise has always been either like even like this year has just been like renderings of cosmetic like variations of already stored like like monsters. I would say like if you're gonna continue to like show like doing that, just like stop selling pets and mounts in the fucking cosmetic shop for right now.
I don't necessarily think it's an issue. I just think we need variety. Like, I don't only want to see cosmetic stuff, but I also kind of want to see cosmetic stuff, so there needs to be a balance between the two. Because I understand people wanting to see what they've used their money on, but at the same time, there is an excitement with seeing things for the first time.
Yeah, and they do need to leave a bit of that for the release of the game, so I don't have any problem with it being cosmetic stuff while we're alpha testing the game, not trying to, show off all the beautiful cosmetics. I mean, that's not what the testing is for. The testing isn't for showing every mob there is, figuring out every one of their kill methods and ways to fight them and setting up, tutorials on how to get here and do this and that, which was testing the game. So I don't care if they withhold. I'd be more inclined for them to withhold. That way, when the game goes live, we get to see the new stuff. It is brand new and fresh to us and exciting the first time. Because by then, a lot of us Alpha 1 players are going to have been through 2, Beta 1 and Beta 2, and we're going to come to releasing either be bored or excited to see all the new content that we never got to play with during the testing phase.
Yeah, and there is a point to be said about the fact that even though not everything is going to be spoiled for Alpha 1 testers, there is a large part of the game that is going to be spoiled regardless if you're going to test it.
True.
And that's part of being a tester.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of figuring out the different
sort of sign
systems.
up for that. Yeah.
Well, one thing that I kind of did not like, but it has really nothing to do with the game itself. It's more like a personal taste. The way it currently looks, and I know this is pre-alpha. This is not even anywhere near finished. It just gives me this really still not like anywhere near to be finished look. And then
what you were seeing today, you mean?
Yeah. If I would, and that's like I said, it's just a personal taste thing. Because if I would have seen something that is like looks polished and close to like the end product from the graphical point of view, I think I would have lost my freaking mind. Like in positive, like out of joy, not out of rage. So
correct, but they also said they were running it in performance mode because they're not performance optimized, etc.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
That's
that's why I don't think that this is even like something negative. It's just something. I mean, I always say negative stuff, or my negative was that people. I always say negative stuff.
To be fair, this is why we did suggest later when they get back in office to record one in house where they can run it at higher settings, where they're not having to worry about the stream quality.
Fair enough. I still want a little bit better improvement by Alpha 1 of the netcode. A lot of what I saw in there was she was saying chunking. To all of us, we know that that's frame stutter, and that is caused by the netcode. Now, I'm going to give them a little leeway because they're doing it over VPNs and not just truly raw open internet. And I'm also going to give them a little more leeway in the fact that they're just running off their home server and not, a server farm that we'll be able to play with.
Why did they have to do it?
Point still
over
remains,
VPN?
netcode needs to be flawless in 2020, 2021. You can't be having a game that's going to have kind of not even in an alpha test. You'll just burn yourself.
Why did they have to use a VPN, by the way? I didn't get that.
Well, because they're running it in-house, right? So on an in-house server, you're not, unless you know what you're doing, you're not really going to open the ports out and tie together all the IP addresses, etc., to make sure only those specific people connect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is what they could do to avoid the VPN issue. It's just more taxing on their person.
It's also a secure network thing for work-related stuff.
Yeah, and it does interfere with all the works. So, I mean, I understand why they have to do the VPN thing, especially if they're working from home. But come Alpha 1, that netcode needs to be streamlined as hell, or they will take it in the ass. I guarantee it. Every single person who has any hiccup will blame it nothing but on their server, regardless if they're on crappy internet or if they're running a potato or whatever the case is. They'll just keep blaming it on that.
Yeah, but that's every gamer these days. So, they can bitch complain as much as they want if they don't realize that this is a first-time game, a first-time studio, and this is their first IP, and they are expecting this to play this game with no fucking hiccups when it launches. Then I'm pretty sure they're also doing some other sort of drug, and they also see pink unicorns riding across their yard.
Yeah. People are going to ride that disappearing caravan stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Don't forget about the blacksmith that was like Michael Jackson moves.
And the crash that happened when the dragon spawned in the city.
But to be fair, that happened in a game that existed. That happened in a game that existed for 12 years as well.
I mean, overall, and even after I seen the live trailer or the teaser for the what we've seen today, I'm actually pretty surprised, and I like what I saw, which I did not expect, because I was expecting something a little bit different. Not gonna lie, so I am kind of like, let's go. What else can we see? What else can we get?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would be happy if they just gave us that and bug checked it for a couple of months and then put that out. I honestly wouldn't have any problem. I heard them say they were playing it multiple times. I saw that they had other people that were playing that weren't even part of the stream, but there were other players sitting in there. Obviously, dev team. I see that it's got a lot of stuff and content in it that they could take a lot of feedback from. It certainly has more content for me than APOC would ever have. Y'all know I freaking hate APOC. I hate all
that name.
I love that.
Now,
can I just interrupt as well?
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I know it was in Alpha 1 and, there was loads of hiccups, like you said. There was the disappearing caravan, there was the crash. But then you think of all the stuff that they're dealing with right now, coronavirus, working from home, VPNing in. But then Steven's jumped into the Discord and says, look, guys, I'm going to jump in and chat with you guys at 3. What other company would do that? He said that they didn't answer enough questions, basically, so he's going to chat to everybody.
Nice.
I think what was really great about the trailer and the live stream was that there was more in the live stream than what was in the trailer. So we got more than what was advertised.
There was more. There was more in this live stream than the last 2 years combined when it comes to game status.
And I think that was really nice because it wasn't only we saw the bus fight, we saw the same characters, we saw the note build up that building. We also got to see a lot of different systems that weren't advertised, and I think that's a real treat, and makes joining these live streams really fun.
What I liked, they took a concept and executed it. They showed people that it's in-game. A lot of the stuff that they said they were working on is in-game now.
Right down to even the fighting the dragon, which people were trying to call them out on.
So now when they talk about something they're going to implement later, we can say, well, they've already executed the rest of it. There's also not all the mechanics and all the stuff we saw. As I said, I think there's stuff they didn't show us today because people already noted 2 clerics and a tank. So we're already missing 2 other classes they could have showed us, but chose not to today. That might be in the next stream.
So yeah,
True.
They
everything,
probably don't want to overwhelm us considering how long the stream was.
everything that
Well, yeah, I mean, if you try to show all the features of an MMO, even at this level, you could spend 2, 3, 4 hours. Like I said, they could
Yeah.
do a feature
Yeah.
stream separate of a gameplay stream. And in a feature
gotta
stream,
remember
they'll
when
burn an
they-
hour and not get it all done.
So you got to remember when they were releasing Alpha Zero in December, like when it was 2018, whatever it was, they did a few months of gameplay streams. They were showing different things. Like one stream, they showed that dungeon, the dungeon that they ended up going in. One of them, they were just showing the open world. So yeah, they're probably spacing out over the next few months just to keep people interested. So yeah.
And again, did I hear correctly? It's in its 3rd year of development.
3rd year since Kickstarter.
3rd year since
Yeah.
Kickstarter. I think it's its 4th or 5th year because they started in. I think it's
2017.
16.
no,
Yeah,
they
that's
started in
nothing.
16. They started in
2016.
2016. Yeah,
Yeah.
in February, I believe.
That's nothing for time. They're, in my opinion, they are ahead of time. If anything, they're not behind. They're doing great.
I mean, they did skip over a lot of things.
They're
and they focused all their efforts on this alpha rather than putting it on the VR.
Kind of-
they are.
No, that-
PZG, you're cutting out.
I'm cutting out. I think Yoke is cutting out.
You're back now.
Something
I think it might be
that
Discord.
yeah, it's Discord. Like I don't know. If we do one episode again with that many people, we might have to find something else because I don't think Discord or my internet can handle this. Something that keeps like bugging me a little bit is you know, they didn't give us any like time frame when we can get into Alpha 1. But they also claim that they are turning down or turned off the APOC servers in preparation for Alpha 1. So I'm just like kind of like trying to pinpoint when and how and why everything. Like how can we, or when can we get into Alpha 1 at this point?
I'm assuming that might be affected by the scary virus we're not supposed to talk about on certain channels, and the move to the new building. Those factors also add in.
True.
I
But I
think-
would still say if we're going to throw darts at a dartboard, end of year Alpha 1 is not outside of the realm of possibility.
I'd say prep for Alpha 1 at the end of the year, and if it's earlier, it's a good surprise.
And you also got to see with the current crisis in the world at the moment.
Yeah.
Depends on how long that affects them from going back to their studio.
They're not the only company, too. I've heard a couple of companies working on games that are delayed for 6 months to a year. Their game.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't even remote work. They just shut it down for the time being. Because certainly, if anything you can do remotely is code.
We also have to take into consideration the fact that the last time they were further on in development, they had issues with their backend, and that's still a possibility.
I'm sure they're whipping that as much as they can every day.
Yeah.
That's why I said I would take what they showed us today, so long as that net code is going to be the thing they were making sure they got dialed in. We don't want to have people disappearing or constant chunking. We don't want to have servers that are not able to keep up. The net code gets into a rock solid place. Give me that universe there with the caravan disappearing and dragon that inadvertently crashed it out. I don't care. I deal with bugs. That's part of being an alpha tester. But it still has to feel a little bit smoother. And I felt a bit of that was choppy. And it could have been the VPN. It could have been their net code. It could have been both. Just that's probably my biggest gotcha coming out of this one is making sure the net code is good. Because everything else I saw looked pretty damn good. Looked very playable and fun to test with. Is it a 24/7 MMO? No, it's an alpha. So you get in, you do a few hours, you feed them back some info. You do that on occasion while they're releasing patches.
Chile. I mean, they cannot like really like lock down on the netcode until they get it like in a full testing environment.
True. True, but when you go to Alpha 1, you're going to have there's a shitstorm of us in Alpha 1. There's a lot of people in Alpha 1. And netcode needs to work.
I want to address that too. All right, so during the preview of the video they showed us a couple days ago, at the very end of it, it says, register now at blah 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 the website.
Yeah.
I don't like that that's there because it gives the false concept that people can still get into Alpha 1. You cannot buy they've stopped selling.
True, yeah.
They've stopped selling the Alpha 1 packs a while ago. They've already said that they want just under 10,000, and they've already stated that they won't be opening them up to public like they did to the
APOC.
Like APOC. You cannot get into Alpha 1 right now anymore.
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
that's true. But I
it was a little misleading how they wrote that certain. It made people feel like they could get the alpha.
It's marketing.
And there's no alpha chance
they didn't state any false facts in that. They're just there's a shit ton of companies that do that. Like how
I'm
often,
aware.
So I know what you're getting at. More high ground, and we expect more or whatever. Just trust me. Just don't do that. Don't go down that road. I've been down that road. Just stay where you are and hate on the Bears, and don't get into that stuff. Just hate on the Bears.
Hate on the Bears. I didn't mind the Bears.
No, I will hate on the Bears later on. Don't get me wrong. I will hate on the goddamn Bears.
No, the Bears are fine. Hate on the Doors. They're dirty.
What do you mean? Fuck you!
What?
I would have liked to seen this is alpha. I'm not this is a pre-alpha. We're not even in Alpha 1 yet. So we're not expecting Alpha 1 to be months down the road. So I'm not saying this is a bad thing. I'm just saying I would have liked to seen. We saw some concept art of the orcs a while back. I would just like to see orcs because they are they're still humanoid, but they are less of a this is just a human with pointy ears, and this is just a stumpy human. I would have liked to seen
they had trolls.
They had trolls, but they had trolls in Alpha 1. I'm not trolls in the. I will say that I enjoyed seeing Fangler because we have not talked or seen anything Fangler related since 2017 or early 2018. So I'm happy to see Fanglers again. I feel like they were the staple. They were the thing people recognized about Ashes when we first joined this community. We do not talk about them. We do not see them that much anymore. I'm happy to see
them in this
Fanglers.
demo. We saw them in this demo. They fought it, and then we did get to see some of their water, mobs. There was some crab crustacean thing and the salamander body types. We saw the plant types. We saw the troll. Granted, it was just troll.
It's a mushroom.
But it kind of gives you the idea how the orc can look like.
Presumably the orc.
I think making a troll is harder than making an orc because the
actually you see that could be the orc model, and they've added on top of the skeletal features of the orc.
That is not the orc model. And I can guarantee you that that is the exact same orc from Alpha 0. They did not do any they made.
That's true.
They fixed a troll. That is the exact same troll from Alpha 0, and they did not.
I didn't say it wasn't. I just said the model that they used might be the same model.
I don't think so. I've been bugging Steven to let me see an orc for years. And it's not the same. If they're still working on concept art, then I don't think that troll has anything to do with orcs.
Doesn't even match any of the concept arts.
Exactly.
Well, he said ages ago. I think it was late 2017. They already had a version of the dwarf they were testing, and they only showed it today.
Yeah, but you don't know if it's the same version. Might be a completely different version just because they're testing something. This
revision changes all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, because we saw
tomato, potato.
Teaser. Yeah, because the one we got in the teaser was completely different to the one we saw right there.
Yeah, male versus a female.
Yeah, no, but what I mean is you saw
the teaser you saw at the very start of the stream.
The developers in the channel, even our chat channel here, will tell you that making the humanoid shape is one thing, and they can make the humanoid shape from a dwarf to a troll. We've seen that, right? Human, dwarf, troll. Saw that. Mechanics of them fighting. That's the harder part.
Yeah.
So I'm not actually worried about the orcs model being in the game. I'm more concerned with that they can, animate it and make it fight, make it feel weighty or strong or whatever. That would be my bigger concern.
So that was a question I got given. Was so the fighting combat with the melee attack when you saw Maggie attacking things.
Yeah.
Was
So
on from VR, and someone said, "Well, aren't the dwarves supposed to get their own attack later?" But I'm trying to explain to people that it's alpha. Like that stuff gets added later.
People don't really understand that animation is not the first priority in a lot of cases. No. It just needs to work.
Also, animation might depend on a weapon too, so that might just be the default staff animation.
So, what else did we like about the live stream?
Dwarves.
No. Dirty dwarves jumping and flipping around.
They look like gnomes from WoW.
They're just half people.
I have a question. What did people feel of Margaret's commentary while going over the stream? Because sometimes she went a bit quite off topic, talking about cats and mushrooms and carrots.
Well,
I think it's fine.
She's a streamer, so I think she's more used to that kind of like commentary on that kind of stuff. And people, I wasn't paying attention to the actual stream like chat room, so I don't know if people were asking those kinds of questions or like what was going on. So that might have just been natural.
Her main thing was that she was trying to cut off Steven a bit much because she's used to being the main voice in a stream, but she needed to let him talk about things that he wanted to talk about a little bit more.
That's the thing. I think Jeff cut him off too because I think he tends to lean into stuff he's not supposed to say.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm certain Steven does at times as well, but you kind of got to let them sometimes. They can deal with getting their crap together for the next stream or whatever, but you certainly have to let everybody who's on the stream, I'm talking about us, I'm talking about them,
I think
be able to talk about the things that they want to talk about.
Because his mic cutting out sounded like a cough halfway through the stream.
Yeah,
that was really hard to listen to, wasn't it? Like his mic was really low.
Yeah.
But I think that's what it was, so they're probably resting his voice.
Well,
and plus it's going to be later on in the Ashes Discord in about an hour.
No.
And they also were up at 3:00 in the morning.
Yes, of course, running through this multiple times. You can tell it was a scripted run through, and I don't have any problem with that. They have lots of space for people to roll and chat.
The amount of times they've been running it.
Yeah, because they wanted the demo to come off properly. And being a former demo creator, I can tell you how bad it is when you fail a demo. Nobody remembers anything about the demo except the fail.
So that also can be why we haven't seen new creatures too, because they wanted it to run flawlessly in terms of that.
To add to that point, they didn't even want him to change to a male dwarf because there was obviously some code behind there.
That was more because because there's a couple of other races in, they don't want to accidentally change to the race they don't want to show you.
No. They said something about the fact that it crashed for someone last time they switched to a male dwarf.
So he was going to go behind the thing because he said that one of them's scary and they don't want to show people yet.
Wait, what is this whole thing with nudity and a fully correct model?
I didn't understand that either. Because if you stream Rest has nudity completely. So I didn't get that bit, but
I'm assuming there'll be a filter.
Well, hold on. Is there going to be that aspect in this game?
No, Steven has said several times. Like, I don't know why they actually made the models with anatomically. I can't see that word, but
anatomically correct.
Yeah,
there we go.
Because they needed it like that for the way they wanted to build the costumes, and they just haven't taken those models out yet.
Yeah,
because he said not all models have it.
Yeah, I think it's just the human model that has it pretty much right now. Yeah,
I mean, I'm adult about it. I don't care. It's not going to offend me, but it's not necessary for this game. I find that to be, if they were doing something like that, to be a frivolous freaking add-on. I don't want to.
Yeah, I think Steven's in the same kind of mindset you are about that because he said several times that he doesn't want overly sexualized armor sets.
But
or
you
No,
combos.
go play your Final Fantasy or
you
whatever.
have to address all the weeps and all the
Don't care.
enemy
Tell
fanboys.
I mean, it would be funny if they made a chainmail bikini for April.
No.
No,
No,
I will fucking riot.
They weren't even gonna. Even when they did like the wedding suit ones, they didn't even like. They said that those were sex based. So like, if you're a female, you're going to be wearing a wedding dress. You're not be wearing. You can't switch it to a tuxedo. And if you're a guy, you're gonna be wearing a tuxedo. You're not gonna be able to switch it to a wedding dress. So they are very
But
much.
you can get a dressing game.
And I don't care
We
about
did-
any of that. I don't want people running around, slack dick in the damn game. It's just not necessary. Go play Conan if that's what you want to do. Go have fun in that game. This is supposed to be back to the real MMO type stuff. So,
Yeah.
So
when they were
I
saying,
think
"Don't
that
look,
was
don't
just
look,"
what it was for.
I was worried about it. I was like, man, they
Yeah.
don't need that in the game. I don't need
Because-
our tears round
But
noodle.
because a
Yeah.
couple of the models didn't have it, I'm assuming it was just in there for modeling purposes.
Well, that's fine. It's not necessary for modeling purposes, but fine. As long as it gets gone.
There
before the
won't
game's
be
live.
any nudity in this game because from a okay, let me put this in real simple terms for all the freaking weirdos and I don't know, weeps out there. There won't be any nudity in this game as an option or anything, because if you do that, first off, you have to completely rate your game differently. And making a sub-based
Not good for an MMO.
Exactly, making a sub-based MMORPG, right, and then having it like R-rated is like, it's like,
well, you
it's
cut
like
off a lot of your player base in the process.
Exactly. So you want to make it as player friendly as possible. So that means no nudity, no bikini shit.
I will say, all right. So in the same kind of thought process as this, I will say that like, yes, female like dwarf, I'm not going to specify female dwarves. Yes, dwarves are your traditional dwarves. They are nice, big, and bulky. But if they invite the level of character customization that they say they want to make, and what people think they're going to make, then I fully expect people to be able to people will make the lollies that they so desperately fucking want.
I will hunt these people down in game.
Okay, so they're going to be able to they're going to be able to as best they can with the ways they've given, but they're not going to be able to make cat-eared, bunny-tailed actual lollies. They're going to make big-eyed dwarves. Is all they're going to make.
They're gonna make thin little lolly characters. I'm not talking about furry lolly characters. That furry is the Tolnar.
Guys, come on.
Can we get back to Alpha 1? Can we get back to Alpha 1 and not talk about that crap? That's on the Discord
Somebody
enough.
in chat is saying that the models are from Unreal Engine, and that's why they have full-on autonomy instead of being censored in a way.
Yeah, so you see those two sets of models in there. So
okay, well that makes sense as long as they're going to trim that out. I didn't know that was going to be part of the feature set of the game or not.
It's not.
I'm glad that's clarified.
Because also from a streamer's point of view, they don't really, if they want to have a wider audience, they can't show certain content.
Hi, when does Alpha 1 start? Patriot, we do not know. Wir wissen's nicht, Digga, wir haben keine Ahnung, sorry. Aber es sah heute gut aus.
But speaking Swedish.
I'm not speaking Swedish, idiot.
You know, pull your leg, BCG. Shut up.
I want to talk more.
We all know that was Spanish, anyways.
Okay. Listen, you little South African boy.
Whoa! Did you assume my gender just now?
Yes, I fucking did. So. No, I want to get back to the whole thing with Alpha 1. So we've been begging for stuff like this for ages now, and we finally got it. There's always something I ask, like when me, Yoki, and Staggerson do the podcast. This is always something that I ask. Based on what you've seen in the last few days, when do you think we will get a release? Like everybody, not everybody at once, just go down. Like,
Are you asking full on release or
full on
Alpha
release?
1?
Full on freaking release. Who wants
Why
to go
you do this
first?
to me?
I don't know, because I'm an asshole. And I hate you.
Should we
All
go
right,
from
Chili,
Z
you're-
Me
downwards?
too.
All right, Faisal, you go first.
Fuck you!
I can go first if you want, and we can just go down.
All right, let's go.
Go ahead,
Let's
C.
go, Z. Let's get it.
End of next year.
Ooh.
Oh, damn.
Ooh, Z with the confidence. Ooh.
Well, end of next year? There's like a whole 9 months of this year and 12 months of next year.
She has some she has some, because if
How
they go off
years
the
work.
original, like if they go off the original release schedule, then you'd have 3 months. If Alpha 1 is the Q4 of this year, you'd have like 3 to 4 months of Alpha 1, 3 to 4 months of Alpha 2, then a couple of weeks of Beta 1, a couple of weeks of Beta 2, and then launch.
No.
So she's, yeah,
But
that was the
Okay,
original.
wait, before we start arguing, okay, so Z, Melgus, you're next.
I think it's going to be Q4 this year.
All right,
Quarter
Faisal.
I
Wait.
think at
Q4
least
full release.
We can't discuss it. He said full release
Faisal,
Q4.
Faisal, when?
At least 2 years.
All right,
Oof.
Yoki.
I'd say, like, generously, end of next year. Realistically, probably Q2, Q3 of 2022.
Okay, Okies.
Factoring in delays, about 18 months.
Chili.
That's the end of next year. So I'm going to say with Yokai, I'm going to say spring. What's that? E3. I'm going to say E3 2022.
And I say Q1 2023.
Wow.
2023. All right.
Okay, wait.
So
We got
play
Malgus
Ashes for
Holy
Mars.
shit.
at the. Malgus is at the end of this year.
No, sorry,
And
I
you
thought you
said
said
end
Alpha
of-
1 or no. If you're
No.
talking about the full release.
Yeah, full release.
Full
Marcus,
release.
listen to when I talk. I know I have the accent, but still.
Yeah, I'm living with delays. Okay.
No, the
All right,
reason.
Malgus. When do you think full release?
2022. I'll say 2022. Yeah.
I'm thinking 22 or 23 as well. I don't think it's gonna come out next year.
Let me throw down why I think it's 2023. Because shit goes wrong. Shit has gone wrong. All right. So I used to be in the thing where I always, was like, yeah, we gotta make this before 2020. Dude, I so believe this. Before 2020, I can have a fucking MMORPG to play. Fuck yes, I love my life. And that put me that put me in a spot where I personally got really like frustrated and like everybody knows the story from the Lord of Salt. Everybody knows what happened the last 2 years. So I don't have to go down that road. So, but the reason why I got into that situation was because I was going based off, what everybody was saying and, the hype everybody else had. Now, actually, I'm in a situation, I know where we at. I seen where they at. So I can now make an assumption going based on, if, let's say, people leave. Let's say coronavirus mutates and the zombie apocalypse is coming next. The studio is burning down. I don't know. Stuff can always happen. So worst case scenario, Q1 2023. And if I'm wrong, then fuck yeah, I'm wrong. That's even better.
Magisto agrees with you. He's thinking Q1 2023, roughly in that time frame. The reason why I pulled it in as much as 2022. Say that? Yeah. So all of this year, all of next year, E3 2022. You release a game on a major event. So at least factor in that. Christmas time, E3, et cetera, or when they may do their own special event, but it'll be an event-driven thing. That's
People
how you
are
capture
on holidays and stuff. You want people to play on vacation.
I also think that this game's Alpha 1 could drop by the end of this year. So I say 2022 because if they give us all that they need to in Alpha 1, the rest of it's ancillary, extra creatures or extra decals, cosmetic stuff like that, that's neither here nor there. It's really the engine pieces that really hold the game up. So once the engine pieces are done, the rest of it is just how fast can they pump out content, like additional missions, zone areas, whether it's flora or fauna. It's still just artwork, like we said earlier.
Considering
That
how
that
busy
animation
Bacon's
cosmetic
been.
always comes last, but that comes fast. So I'm still pitching E3 2022, assuming that yes, the world doesn't catch fire because of coronavirus.
But that's the hard part of factoring things in, is that if everything went smoothly, it all factors into when we actually get into alpha. If we don't get into alpha to the end of the year, you're looking at least a minimum of a year before we get into
Yeah,
alpha 2.
and I figure
at this
and I
point.
figure 14 to 16 months past that, past alpha.
Well, alpha 1 doesn't go for as long as the alpha 2 does.
Well, and then you're going to do simultaneous as well. So alpha 2 becomes a dev place, right?
So alpha 2 is an open area that's continuously on, and beta 1 and beta 2 will be login at key times.
Okay. So that's going to get them a lot. Medusa said they do need some redo of their netcode. That's what I was talking about earlier, and I think that's going to be one of the major pieces that they're going to have to deal with, especially with particular engine that they're working with.
And that's where the
They
beta
bit off
1
a big cookie there.
And that's where the beta 1 invites, when they bring people into the game, will test that spike in player base and stuff too.
Yeah,
Alright.
the masses.
What did you guys think about the combat?
It was pretty much the same as Alpha Zero, I found.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a mix between Alpha Zero and the BR.
Did they say? Yeah. How was it? I mean, that's what the thing. I was looking for like some action combat.
I didn't even see any like fucking BR things in there. It looked purely like fucking the Alpha Zero combat.
All the sword
Well, but they-
animations and all the staff animations were the BR ones.
Yeah, we're straight out of VR.
Well,
That
yeah,
is-
the
Yeah,
animations were out of VR. Okay.
I can't tell you if it changed a lot.
Wait.
Let's not play it.
Didn't they say in this? Didn't they say somewhere? I don't know if it was in the teaser, or whatever, that they would show off the hybrid combat system.
Yeah, this is meant to be.
Technically, they did, because they had the auto attack system on the weapons, which they did also have a similar system to in Alpha Zero.
I don't remember them ever saying in the preview or anything they would show off the. I'm pretty. I don't know what the hell. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure
Not,
they
not in the
said.
preview, but they said it on the Discord.
I'm pretty sure they said to us before it wouldn't be added until either late Alpha 1 or Alpha 2. So we might only see a tease
they've
of it,
said
but that's it.
Yeah, that's what I'm going on. Like, I don't think they ever said in the Discord or inside, because I don't remember what it was said, if it was a stream or PI. So I'm not going to talk about that kind of stuff.
They said in this stream that this requires still 7 iterations and stuff. So, no, they said even by Alpha 2, they may need to polish it up.
Yeah.
The aim is
Hundreds of iterations.
But
That's how
we know-
development works.
But they said
But
this is
no,
an
based-
early aspect of it, like a really early aspect. Because I
But
think
we
the
know-
issue was Stephen was telling Margaret to keep using your auto attack, show some of the melee weapons. I don't think she was doing more of the range tab, so to speak. I think the closest one we got was her selecting that area heal. that we were talking about. If you have 3
Laser
clerics.
killer.
Just stack that.
But we know from the BR how much more they can already do with combat. That was the point of APOC, was to start working on those mechanics. So we can already see, A, that they said all that's transferable into the game. B, where they can go with that, meaning the actual combat mechanics, not just tap target mechanics like a healer
Well,
would have.
what
or a
everyone
sword
is
caster.
saying right now, yes, APOC was the purpose of APOC was to test the action combat side of things.
Mhm.
But what everyone's talking about right now is the hybridization of the two. Like right now, like all that was in the game right now was definitely the tap target side of things.
At least it was
Well,
very
Hopefully
tap
aiming at the
dominated.
weapons.
From her point of view, but we didn't get to see Jeff's stuff where he was using the sword board.
He was
if
literally
you-
standing
if
there
you
just taking
watch
hits most of
them,
the time.
They didn't need to select a target to use their melee attacks. There's a point where I saw her unselect the caravan but still be doing damage
Yeah.
with her staff.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, it just means it's a static swing in front of them.
But I think what we need to take away from that is more so just the AoE heal and the basic attacks, and then have that be it. Because most of the rest of it was pretty much what was in Alpha Zero with some iterations and fairly tab oriented.
Yeah, I can pretty much tell you right now that AoE heal is getting nerfed. That regains mana, does damage, and heals at all at the same time.
do agree.
She also was wearing GM armor.
True.
It doesn't matter.
So it might not be
I
as
don't
much as you
think
actually
make
think. It's
that
just it looks like
easy
that.
for them.
But
But
would
we
the
don't have
GM
anything. We don't have anything to say. Yeah, I think Faisal's doing the same thing. I'm sorry to cut you off, Faisal. Go ahead.
It's fine. But would the GM armor give her that much mana?
Oh
That's
yeah.
what I
Yeah.
think. I don't.
You'd be
we
super
don't.
user.
We don't.
You don't need
We
to look at
don't
the
know
numbers right now.
what is on. Yeah, we don't know the numbers
That
on
is
the
true.
GM armor. That could have totally. We don't know the numbers on the spell though either. So that's my
Right,
thing. Is
I
like
know,
you
they
can't
could
judge
just make the
which
spell
one was
OP.
So
which.
any numbers on spell effects, a lot of that stuff isn't touched until
Yeah.
beta.
Yeah.
Number
Yeah,
two
yeah.
until
Yeah.
late,
Balance
late
passes.
in
All
development.
we know is from previously, because I think there was asked a question, I think on the previous Q&A. Luckily, there was a transcript for that. Jeffrey said he loves the
Yeah.
cleric the most, and he said it's quite OP. He did say that, the one that they've been playtesting.
But
Cleric
balance
is,
passes fix that.
And the
Cleric has
second you
been
start
OP.
scaling numbers up and stuff, and when more people start playing the game, the
Cha- cha-
outcome
changing-
of the way
Changing number in the games should be easy. Like like scaling down or scaling it up is not
Yeah,
going to
it's-
take a lot of effort.
It's a
It's
minor
not-
patch
That comes
overnight.
later.
They
Yeah.
don't even reset
Literally a
server.
line of code to fix things.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It should just
Cleric
be
has been
available
OP in like every iteration of the. It was OP in the siege mode. It was OP in Alpha Zero. It's been OP since the beginning.
it's because they were trying to make it
From
into
the
a
beginning
hybrid
of
between a damage dealer and a support. So usually the two things are kind of unbalanced. At least it was an Alpha Zero because it dealt a shitload of damage and you could just sustain yourself through everything.
They
the
did
same
say
thing
that they're
again.
going to tune both down so that you'll
guarantee it'll
never
be
pick a
nerfed.
cleric over the other DPS classes.
Which makes sense. I would keep it true to form. A cleric should be able to solo. Granted, if you build out in that style, but you lose healing. But in a group scenario, it should never be your damage dealer of any type. At best,
Something-
buff, and at worst, good heals.
Steven said that he's basing the cleric off of how it is in Pathfinder and D&D, and it's pretty broken in Pathfinder and D&D.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
the
but
cleric is
they'll
supposed to do
tune that.
damage.
That's the difference. Also, it all depends on the other classes. We haven't seen all the other classes yet.
And what healing they can do.
You also
They
can't
can't
compare
do
them
healing.
to
They've already
the
said that the
tank,
cleric will be the only one that will be able to
the
do
bard also.
The
The
bard
bard
does
will be the
buff.
other support character.
It does
Yeah.
supportive, but its main thing is buffing.
I think it probably round out.
At least-
in a group, it'd probably be more of like, in Final
You
Fantasy.
actually corrected
what the
that and
two
said, sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying in Final Fantasy, you got the scholar and you got the actual main cleric one. The scholar is just there to help support the other healer because one does dots and one does just full burst, that sort of thing. Maybe the part might be more dots.
Or are they basing it on the Trinity then?
Yes.
It is semi based
think
on
so.
the Trinity, yes.
Okay, if it's going to be anything based on the Trinity, then yeah, you can expect that the cleric's going to be a mega healer, somewhat damage dealer, because they got to make it soloable somewhat.
Hmm.
You can't, you can't
that's
make
the
a
thing
cleric
that's gonna
be a
be
group only
interesting.
play.
For when we get into Alpha 2, because a lot of us want to test the tank out. See if it is
But like,
soloable.
going back to the bard, don't forget there's other support items like the potion launcher that we tried in the BR. Like
What
that's
else is that?
that was
Ste-
supposedly
Steven-
meant for healing.
Stephen directly said he cut people off and said directly the cleric
Mhm.
is not a healer, it is a support class.
Let's talk more about
Yeah.
Alpha 1. We're getting into specifics. Alpha 1 was the thing we're making this all about. So what else can we talk about?
It's pretty much. I think we're pretty much at the point where we're just going off of Alpha 1 and speculating for the future.
With the gathering.
Well,
There
to,
was a
yeah,
topic
let's
that
say
was
to
brought up.
Alpha 1 gathering, I would hope that there's more nodes or the ability to chop any tree you pass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
compared to
that
some
was actually
Yeah.
something
pile of
like
wood.
a few people picked up on that in the stream. But they were like, why are you hitting wood on the floor and not a tree?
Yeah, I mean that's MMO basics 101. Gathering, if you're going to put it in your damn game, needs to be open world and obvious. There's a rock, you hit it. There's a tree, you chop it. There's a plant, you pick it. Duh. And you can expand upon it past that if you want, make it into more of a skill set thing or whatever, skill based thing. But and you can still throw in that stuff where you go take wood from another camp. I can get behind that. That's all right. But they didn't chop a single tree, and to me, that's
that was
something
weird.
that's got to change. It's got to change.
It's not in yet, so I understand that then.
Well, that's why I said
I
it's
think
got to
they
change.
chopped
I don't
one-
know if it
think
will
they
or won't
chopped
be.
Sorry, I think they chopped one tree because Steven said we might need that later. That Margaret interacted with one of those white
No,
trees.
that was a rock. No, that was a rock.
That was a
Did
one.
you
That
find
was
out
a
the-
No,
one
that
button
was the
on
plant.
tree.
It was next to, like, it was.
They picked up
midway
a
on the
flower
street.
at some point.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
My-
But there were no
But
trees
maybe-
chopped in it.
Maybe they could do a rarity system. You saw it with the fish when Margaret got the first fish. It was a rare, so maybe the one on the ground is
He
like
said that's
common.
happening.
Now you're taking that to be a rare because it's blue, and other games have been blue when it's a rare item. Did it say rare on it?
Yeah, it did. When the
did
Margaret
it?
did the
My bad
fish,
then.
Brilliant. It was a brilliant something fish, whatever.
Yeah,
It was a brilliant snapper.
I
Yeah.
saw
The
rare
snappiest
on
of
it,
them
so
all.
I thought for a second, so that's how it was a rare.
But I think
So they could do the same thing with the rocks and the trees. Instead of 3 picks and the rock disappears, it could be, you can hit it more often and get more, or you get different quantities or different types that come off of the rocks, minerals, etc. Same with the trees. You chop one type of tree, you get 2 pieces. You chop a bigger tree for longer, you get 5 or 10, or maybe you get, a proc that happens. As long as we're actually chopping a damn tree and not pilfering wood all the time. I like having both in. That's more expansive to me, and that makes more sense. Make it to where you can tear down a building and get the materials out of it, but make sure that 1,000 trees they ran by to get to that pile of wood, any one of those should be choppable, in my opinion.
Well,
But-
he contradicts it. If they don't do it, it contradicts his earlier statement. But when they were selling the Kickstarter and stuff, saying that you could cut down trees and then cause an event to happen.
yeah. All the harpies come out and kick your ass, or fairies, or
Or
whatever.
ant.
Yeah.
Or an
Triggered.
ant. Yeah, exactly.
Coming to whoop your ass.
Same thing should happen with rocks, by the way. You take all the rocks and minerals out of the area, and yeah, you should have some kind of a golem or something attack you, or whatever the case. Fill in the blank.
I could see that, yeah.
But did you notice when the caravan was destroyed, those red rocks suddenly just came out?
The gems.
Well,
Yeah.
the explosion of goods flopping everywhere, I actually appreciate, because what I don't want is just a pile of stuff that all of a sudden you just click it on and you picked up
Yeah.
everything. I think you
Yeah,
should have to run around, and I think that you have a chance to lose it because other people are running up and grabbing, or the defending team is trying to pick up the junk, or whatever the case may be. So it's splattering. I'm cool with that.
which
At
was
least that's
tested in the BR.
I didn't get to do
yeah,
that.
the looting system.
Yeah.
When you kill
Yeah.
someone, they explode like that. And you
Well,
loot
hold on. They killed NPCs. They never pick up or drop anything that I saw, and I thought
Yeah,
we had that
NPCs
been
weren't
covered.
lootable, I noticed.
Yeah, they didn't pick up from a single kill that they did. They didn't get a single drop or pick up any.
Maybe the NPCs were simulating a player because you're not
Well,
generally.
They killed raptors and they killed the cat and what have you. Are we going to be able to gather leather or whatever
Of
from
course.
those
I
creatures?
just don't think that was in yet.
Yeah.
I think
Or
that's
is that
something
something
that's
that's
going to come.
Sorry, correction. In this build, because he did correct himself multiple times when he said, "Oh, we do this," and then he said, "Oh no, wait, that's not in this build."
Yeah.
So it's an expected feature, though.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
there were things
so-
he went to do and
Um,
hesitated because he didn't know if it was in the build or not.
Like, I don't know if it's expected future or not, unless like we know for sure. So I'm not going to give you hopes up to something that I have nothing to back it up on.
Stephen said he's not a fan of sparkly bodies and stuff like that for lootable.
Which
Hey,
I
hey,
honestly,
Steven's mind can change anytime.
Wait. You see, like right there, that statement I find funny. If he says he doesn't like sparkling bottles, but the fighting looks like a freaking disco light show, I'm like, okay, what's going on here? Because honestly, I'm not a big fan of all the effects. They could dumb that down.
That's a preference thing. I like all the sparklies. I don't like sparkling body.
Yeah, but you see, like, here's the thing. I'm always like thinking like okay, maybe on like in a small group this is fun, but what if you 500 versus 500? Then it becomes something completely different.
He said
Well,
that when you're in
yes.
bigger groups, it will scale down a bit.
Yeah, and that's old technology in MMOs even now. I mean, you even saw that in BDO doing that crap. So I don't suspect that we'll have to deal with that when we have the 40 people on the dragon and 40 freaking healers doing their sparklies on the ground. But I do expect if I kill a raptor, I should be able to skin it and get leather.
Yeah, because we
You know,
know
or if I-
when we kill a boss, there should be something either for crafting to get better gear or something.
Yeah.
Mm.
Loot drops / material gain in some sort. So you kill a plant life animal, yeah, you can get your experience, you can get some gold or whatever is going to fall out of it, but that plant could be then something that's a gatherable.
What did you
That's, again,
guys?
hold it.
What did you guys think about the time to kill in the video? Like, I felt certain mobs died
I
instantly.
Don't
I think that was intentionally fast to speed up the time in game.
Yeah,
That's-
and they were doing
Like
GM
the
running.
booster
so.
they had on.
Yeah.
wouldn't
That
base
being
off
said,
of
I
anything.
wish they would increase the number of monsters though. Like it's
More
supposed to be
density?
a 40-man
When they were-
40-man raid. Like one person is able to like grab all their attention.
Basil,
I think
That-
it was just
that
they were
dungeon-
just showing it off.
Yeah, that
The dungeon wasn't a 40-man
was-
dungeon. The
No,
raid was in the 40-man dungeon.
I don't even. Yeah, that dungeon I guarantee was purely meant to just show off this stream because guess what, Faisal? They had flaming fucking bears in there.
Also,
To be
they
fair, that matches the aesthetic of the dragon, though.
Honestly, I know. I know.
Nice.
I know. Yoki has the thing with the bears, because you know of the way the different skins and they have. I don't have that issue with the bears. I have like, how like the way the bears look. They're like really basic bears. I like a bear to be like really like have like big shoulders and like a short neck and be like like a grizzly bear, and not like.
Did you see the white bear with the moss on the back that came after them when they were going back for the caravan?
That's the wood bear. That's also one I have a problem with.
Like for example, there's a boss in World of Warcraft.
Shut up! Don't even say that word again.
It's 3 words, so you have to be more specific. In the nightmare, and just like the way the way the bears look in World of Warcraft, like the boss bear says, well, I don't fucking know what the name was. Druid boss. Anyways, those look like heavy bears that they really can like kill you with one strike. Right? Those are like bears, like grizzly bears, and the ones I see in the video or the ones we've seen from Ashes, they're more like, oh, they're cuddly.
The ones that we've seen, the ones we saw in the offer today, I will give are reskinned versions of the fucking bear that they showed off recently. I don't even know what the fuck it's called. The Brew Bear. The reskins of the Brew Bear. The other bear, the like heart bear, I think is the bigger, stockier bear that you're talking about. The one we saw and I had a giant complaint about how they're just 2 bears, but they had a rebuttal to my thing that I don't remember right now. So, but I think the other bear is what you're looking for, BCG.
I think maybe we should round out the podcast now because Margaret is going into the AOC voice chat, and I think Steven might be joining in a bit. But I kind of want to ask everyone just to give a quick opinion on what their expectations for the next Alpha 1 iteration is. Like, what do you guys want to see improved? So, Stackerson, if you go first.
I don't think Staggerson's been here the entire.
Staggerson is dying.
I don't think he's here.
Okay, Keith, you go first if you want to.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, Stackerson.
Oh, he's alive!
Stackerson's been here. His voice been is low. Like I've been hearing him the entire time.
Yeah, I think the thing I would like to see, I don't know if it's their focus, is like a actual start to the hybrid system.
Multi-class.
Yeah. What about you,
No,
BCG?
sorry, the hybrid combat system. I feel like they kind of, as you guys noted, they kind of just had like tab skills, and then like like their weapon attacks were the same thing from the BR, so it was kind of hybridy. But it'd be nice to see them expand and also like make interface improvements for that system, and not just have it be you normally look in a direction and then you can like click. I want to see a better way of combining the two.
What would I like to see? Orcs.
Yes. What would you like to see?
I would like to see orcs and just.
You're never getting that.
Probably. Yes, I will at some point. They have to show it at some point. You moron. Orcs and a little bit more polish in certain things. The game still, from the looks of it, just as a gameplay wise, I don't have any complaints. Like concept, systems, no complaints. On a technical standpoint, I have no complaints. Now for me, it's just the graphical stuff. The graphical stuff, and just a little bit tweaking, and I'm happy.
Yes. I think orcs will probably be in BCG. I think orcs will probably be inside the actual launch of Alpha 1. Alpha 1, but I do not think it will be done by the next iteration.
Shut up.
Next.
Okay, who wants to go next?
I'll go. I'll say. I want to see a bit more of the other classes, because we only got to see the clerics. I want to see it from the other perspective, like how the tank and the other. And then the ranger, because I want to know what happened to the ranger.
The fighter.
Yeah, I know you want to see the fighter. I know Okies wants to see the summoner.
That stuff won't
Summoner,
come
I think we should get till number 2.
But yeah, I do want to see how the other classes is, because so you can see it from another view angle, because you want to see how because it'll give you a better example of how the combat is going to work if you see it from another class point. Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
I can go.
I'll go.
Oh, you go.
Go ahead, Z.
No, ladies
go ahead,
first.
Z.
No, you go first.
Ladies first.
I don't know, like what we saw today, but a bit more fleshed out. Like, in all honesty, we didn't see a great deal.
No.
Like we did, but we didn't. In a way, if that makes sense. Like we just saw. That sounds really negative. Like I don't mean it like that, but we saw them fighting. But yeah, anyway.
Come to the dark side, my child. Come to the dark side.
I would like to see more of what we saw today, without the glitching, without the dragon crashing the game, without the caravan disappearing. And I feel like when I played the BR, the graphics were like 1,000 times better.
I think it was because they were running entirely on performance.
I agree.
They weren't doing it via VPN, I think, as well.
Yeah, just what we've seen today, but more continue.
Yeah, refined.
Yeah.
Like between Ultra and Performance is quite huge in the BI, so I'd assume it's quite huge in the thing that they were showing today. So
the thing,
you know what I mean.
You mean the nude?
The live stream.
Who wants to go next? Gotta be quick.
All right, so I'm going to go back to mechanics. I think you guys are going to see your other player types, and you're going to see more spells and more swinging of the axe. Sure, the battle mechanics need to get there, but nothing that we ever covered here. Something that I think needs to start showing up is the trade, skills, crafting system, even the first hints of it.
Well, then yeah, we'll see that Alpha 1. I don't think we'll see it by next iteration though. But the actual implementation, all that stuff isn't supposed to come out until Alpha 2.
Just saying what I want in the next one. Chase. Next.
Okay, Faisal, you go next.
Okay. I would like to see more interface with other people. How I'm able to invite them to my party, guilds, all these interactions in Alpha 1.
Like social stuff?
Yeah, social stuff.
Who wants to go next?
I'd like to see more in terms of mechanics in like a quest system that actually isn't just a line of text and then you already know where to go because they've been playing it. Because there was no long lore thing, because obviously spoilers, they have to flesh something out to show us. Is there going to be a quest book Are we going to pick up, because he said we're going to pick up lore snippets in the game, all those kind of elements you interact with. None of that's on the UI yet, so we don't know if it's a hot button or any of that yet.
Who's left?
No, I think I'm the only one left.
The one and only.
Yeah, you got it.
Expectations for next one. I'm with Sackers. I'd like to see more implementation for hybrid combat. I don't think it's going to be the next one. I would like to see it though. If we're following the Alpha 1 mentality though, I'd probably be just more iterations on the node aspects of things. Just maybe showing off some other freehold stuff like they said they would or some shit.
Wow, I'm surprised you didn't mention the bear.
I want to rage on the Bears, but we're wrapping
Next
it up
time,
right now.
Yoni, I will
Yeah.
give you a full episode of the podcast where you can just rant about the Bears.
Yeah.
All right?
I want to see the murder bunny too.
All right.
Murder Bunny, the
bunny that one shots you.
the Jagged Mall.
And I'll still stand by what I said a couple of years ago. All they had to do was do better than Chronicles of Beleriand.
Well, that's not hard.
Yeah.
It's already better.
Shots fired.
Yeah.
All right, host, take us out of here, lady.
Take us out.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming along and chatting. Both like viewers and you guys for joining the podcast. It was
Thank you for having us.
fun. It was amazing. You guys are awesome. And I will see you guys the next time I stream, and I'm sure BCG will stream sometime as well. Just make sure to go check out his channel. Make sure to go check out Faisal's channel. I don't know if anybody else streams, but make sure to check out everybody else as well. We'll arrange a way for BCG to throw it into the YouTube comments in one way or another. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for joining in. And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. Bye.
Stay at home. Wash your hands. Where's the